Welcome back to the LEC as Misfits Gaming takes down the Mad Lions and solidifies themselves as the second place team in the LEC. I am joined by the victorious Shlatan. Shlatan, congratulations on the victory. And it was a bit of a difficult early game for Misfits perhaps, so how did you and the team try to come back and secure the Nexus?
Thank you very much, first of all. And hello to everyone. How did we come back this game? I mean, we had like scaling team comp, and we did pretty bad in the early game. They got really ahead. They didn't manage to snowball it though, so we just kept going like on what we could do with our packet timings and not giving them like too much vision control maybe. And I think they didn't execute well enough to win the game. That's all.
The keyword of the current meta are the scaling bot lanes, as well as we see things like Corki who do explode in the late game. And junglers are seen more as enablers in the current meta. And I recently had a chat with T1 jungler owner who's kind of said that the current meta is boring for him, that perhaps as a jungler, he wants to do a bit more. What is your thought on the current state of the jungle meta? Do you think it could be a bit more exciting for you?
Yeah, it could for sure. I think like it's really boring that like you need to just play, I don't know, like kind of a tank role or like team role all the time in this meta because you're just not strong enough to do that much as a jungler. So you can play for like skipping camps or giving farm to your teammates and playing for them more than for yourself. And I think that's the current meta. So there is not like much champs that are like carry champs in jungle. You just need to play for your team. And yeah, it's boring. Like we had times like last year that it was like you could carry from the jungle, but right now I think you just need to play for the team more than for yourself.
What are some jungle champions that you really want to pull out on the LEC stage someday, if the meta allows it?
Maybe Zed, Graves, Nidalee, maybe Kha'Zix, those kind of champs.
And Shlatan, also you are known as a jungler who has a relatively high mid lane proximity, and when it comes to Misfits Gaming success, we often celebrate BTO and your synergy with BTO in it. And can you tell me with your own words how you have built this synergy, this jungle mid synergy with BTO throughout 2020 spring?
I don't think we did like anything special or whatever. I think we just played scrims and we play, I think I would say pretty good. I wouldn't say like we're insane or anything. And yeah, I just play for him because he can carry sometimes. So yeah, I don't mind playing for him.
Okay, that sounds good. And this is my final question to you, Shlatan. With this victory, Misfits secures at least second place in the LEC at the end of week 6. So what does it mean for you, for Misfits Gaming, to enjoy this success and look for the playoffs and possibly even beyond in your almost first split in the LEC?
Well, like I'm obviously really happy, but I would say that the standings are a bit like they're not like 100% like they should be maybe, and I think it's gonna change maybe throughout the weeks. And for the playoffs, there's like a lot of good teams anyway, so we just need to keep on practicing, improving, and get better because that's not like the form that I want to be in for the playoffs. So just keep improving.
Okay, we'll certainly look forward to it, and best of luck for both you and Misfits Gaming in the future weeks. Thank you so much for the interview.
Thank you very much. Bye.
And as we look forward to Vitality versus Rogue, we will head off to Nymaera for a more in-depth look on Vitality's early game. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Ashley. I'm here to do Mighty Battle with the Telestrator to break down how Vitality have struggled with their early game. They've kind of failed to react to some movements on the map, even though they've had information of them. So this is going to be a clip coming in from their game versus Astralis, which they did win, but they fell very far behind in. And I wanted to kind of explore why that happened. This is going to be a clip where something actually eventually ends up happening in top lane, but it starts right down at the bottom side of the map. We're going to start it from here and see what happens with the resets of both bot lanes, because that'll kind of frame what happens with the supports after this point. So to be very obvious about what's happening here, one bot lane is recalling. One bot lane isn't, and that means we're going to see a bit of a difference in the times when the supports can actually get active on the map. And we're going to see what that actually means for both of these teams and what they can do with it. So we can see the Astralis' bot lane completes their recall, and Vitality's choose to push in another wave. Get more minions, that's great. I'm going to pause it again here because there are a couple of things that have happened during this quick amount of time. So what we do have is, just before I pause this, what we saw was Vitality saw Zhao clearing out the Raptor camp. They know that also the Krugs aren't being focused on either. All the bot side camps are down. they have a minion wave in mid lane. They have Orianna on the top side of River 2. If you look how much of the enemy's side they've actually managed to ward out, it's the grand majority of it. So they know by process of elimination, a lot of the top side is therefore probably where Astralis are going to head towards. But let's see what what Vitality's bot lane chooses to do with that. We go on a little bit further, we see that Astralis have ended up on the top side of the map. And what's happened during this time is, of course, we have Vitality's bot lane going towards the bot side of the jungle. They're going back towards lane. They see Jhin in lane, but they don't see Leona there either. So they think, okay, Jhin Zhao's probably on the top side of the map. Leona's not in lane. And if we go on very slightly further after this point too, we can even see that a blast cone is sorry, not blast cone, a Scryer's Bloom has been used to even scout out even further into that jungle. They don't have direct vision on this top side of the map here, but by process of elimination, almost all of the map has been cleared. They have the information of where Astralis are likely to be. Selfmade actually is just here. He knows he wants to shield top lane, but it feels like he wants to shield top lane from just one person, not the two, which I think you can probably guess are going to be there at this point. Because you can even look down here. Jhin is still alone at this point, and it's been a good amount of time while the Leona has been missing from the map. We go on a little bit further. Selfmade is on those Krugs, wanting to shield that top side, but again, it just seems like they didn't see the Leona coming. I feel like they had the information for that. Pops out of a brush, kills them, leads into a dive into the top lane. So all of this information, which has been misused beforehand, snowballs into Vitality, giving up what feels like completely avoidable death in the top side of the map. Anyway, this is one isolated instance of a couple of times that Vitality haven't really used everything that's available to them, and that's been a big problem in the early game. To talk more on that pre-game, though, we're going to go talk about it over here.
Okay, so it sounds to me like that Vitality, we know they have great individual players. We know that they are obviously very talented, but there seems to be pockets or windows where they consistently get abused.
Obviously, that's very visible in that clip. But yes, we also saw, I think, a couple of weeks ago in the game versus BDS, I want to say, they also saw Jarvan on Krugs, and they just didn't time where he could be, and they get dove in bot lane. It feels like the information it's been gathered, it's just not been communicated and acted on well.
Well, they're going to need to leverage that information well when playing against Rogue, because this team looked like a terror yesterday, especially Malrang on his Hecarim. And why don't you talk a little bit about that, because it did seem like he was returning to form.
Yeah, I mean, I just loved seeing Malrang, even after getting invaded a little bit early on in the game, still just running, sprinting down into bot lane, finding a window to get ganks. That's something he does so consistently well for the team. And I think that Rogue, in a lot of ways, plays similar to how they played last year. Like, they like to go for, like, really strong priority lanes. Trymbi even doubles down and plays a lot more range supports than he did in the past. And with Malrang to sort of even catapult them ahead even more than they're used to in the early game, this team is looking damn near unstoppable in most of their matches.
They certainly are, and I have been informed that if they win this match against Vitality, they will in fact lock playoffs.
Oh, with head-to-heads.
So, Nymaera, tell me, coming into this matchup, what are your expectations? What do you think we can come to expect from the Rogue lineup?
Well, I mean, if we're going to go combine the two things that we've talked about already in terms of how good Malrang is, including his jungle pathing, and also seeing how Vitality have kind of misused that same information, that is a big difference between these two teams and how they coordinate on the map. I think that Malrang is going to have a great time this game if Vitality show the same deficits that they've done in their own playstyle.
Yeah, I definitely think that could be a big point of contention. I also have my eyes set on the mid lane as well. We will have Larssen versus Perkz, and I think that it's difficult not to get excited about this mid lane matchup because I feel like Larssen has pretty much only had an incredible spit, and I feel like Perkz has actually been very consistent in the mid lane as well, Ender.
Yeah, I think Perkz' laning in particular has been very good for the team. You know, sometimes you still have like getting picked later on into the game that can be a bit of an issue, but him versus Larssen is an absolutely fantastic matchup. It's one that's absolutely delivered back in the past when Perkz was on G2 versus Larssen. I always remember those 1v1s, especially in playoffs, being oh so sick for the team. And I think that here, Perkz has a chance to try and deal some damage to Larssen in the mid lane.
Yeah, as long as we don't mention Akshan or any of those champions, right? Yeah, I mean, Perkz on the whole has been really consistent on outside of that, but it feels like Larssen has always been consistent. That's always been his calling card, and that's been such a rock for this team to play around because you know exactly what he's going to do and how he's going to perform. Very easy to plan around this mid laner.
Yeah, the mid laners do definitely feel stacked here in Europe right now, and you know that you're in for a banger. We already had some great games today, but we're guaranteed some more. Now, while the super teams of Europe are about to hit the Rift, you'll probably be surprised to hear that there also exists the super team of casters. Unfortunately, we don't have them here today, so please enjoy Drakos and Caedrel instead.
I heckin' love those guys.
Thank you, Ender. At least somebody has taste. Andrew. Rude. I guess we'll leave. No, we're here to cast. We like League too much. We're too excited about these games to leave.
I love the Ender glasses, the bat chest. He's bringing it all today, isn't he? I love it. I missed my weird champ.
We missed him. My little weird champ.
My little weird
he
champ.
came through. Get your weird champs up in the chat for our boy Endy. Anyway,
Endy.
League of Legends is a game that we cast professionally, despite what Vedius or anyone else has to say. So we're here to bring you coverage for the 4th and 5th game of the day. Rogue versus Vitality. You heard it once, you're gonna hear it 8 more times because my boss loves when I say it. If Rogue win, they lock playoffs.
They do indeed, and the opposite side, Vitality, just kind of struggling a bit now. Negative win rate. They need to pick up a couple wins here and get themselves a more comfortable position in the standings. And Rogue have looked vulnerable in the past, but yesterday they looked like they were back in form up against the Mad Lions and were straight into draft. Vitality on blue side, just talking about sides a little bit. Blue side still favored a lot by teams, especially in the eastern regions. When teams lose game 1 in their best of 3s, they often pick blue side. So I'm presuming Vitality are the ones choosing this, I would guess. And Victor already taken away from Larssen, which I believe Alphari was saying in a discussion. He was like, yeah, I do think Larssen is a little bit of a control mage player. If it was to shift towards assassin meta or roaming mids, he would get a little bit more exposed.
And we'll see maybe if he does get pushed out of that comfort zone. Perkz has also been playing a lot of the control mages, the Orianna, feeling like the strongest pick so far that he has had this season, outside of a couple good Ryze performances. That said, Ryze banned away. And you know what I would love this game? Mark, humor me one time. It has nothing to do with these teams.
I'm listening. I'm all ears.
I would love to not see Jinx versus Aphelios in the bot lane. Just one time.
Oh, there's Jinx ban. So your wish might come true. It's definitely come true, actually, because maybe Team Vitality want to first pick themselves in Aphelios.
Shox leaves for 1 week, and I swear I got magic powers. We cursed him with the Euphoria MVP. We cursed him when I did the Targamas monologue. I asked for Jinx.
Oh, there's the Aphelios ban as well.
Oh!
This is something I was actually discussing on my stream. It's like lots of teams are trading Jinx Aphelios, but if you ban one away, you kind of force the enemy team to ban the other. Otherwise, you're getting a priority first pick AD carry. We'll talk about Diana in a second. And if they don't, you can get your first choice AD carry. And then they're forced onto things like Jhin, which is going to come out from Rogue, which is kind of like the third option for these champions. Caitlyn, of course, banned away, did get nerfed a little bit, but with 3 AD carries down, does rise in priority. Diana first pick spells to me like 80 solo laners for Vitality.
Definitely does. Diana locked in, feels like Diana Yasuo was the easy combo, the easy answer. Something I want to highlight, something we're going to talk more about in game. We heard it from Alphari again, as he was talking with Thorn and Dom about this, but he said that Rogue are a highly disciplined team. Vitality, not quite as much. They're much more explosive. And I think that's something we're going to track in game, because if there is any two champions that can be explosive, that can throw a team off of a set game plan, it is Diana and Yasuo. So if that is going to be the combo that comes through, I want to see how Rogue respond. What Rogue have in the tank ready for this one.
What solo lanes will they go for here? I expect full topside with Diana. I could be wrong, because you are dropping AD quite far down. So they're going to go for, I expect, something like Xayah or Rakan. We saw the lethality Xayah from Carzzy yesterday, I believe it was, even building things like Axiom Arc, and with 4 AD carries down, it's to be expected. Could opt to things. I mean, we saw his Vayne. Wasn't so good. I mean, you can't really pick Vayne now either because they don't have enough front line. Things like Ezreal Rakan could work as well, and Kai'Sa Rakan, but you're digging deep if you don't pick AD carry here, and that's exactly what they're going to avoid. They're just going to go for Alphari's Camille into the graves, and of course, Hullbreaker does give you resistances, but Camille, of course, true damage does burn through it. To see how Rogue respond with their support. Can go for something like Leona Nautilus here for Trymbi, or pick up a solo laner.
And Larssen potentially sees an opportunity to prove that he's more than just the man of control mages, picking up the Silas here. Obviously, a lot of good ultimates to steal.
Yeah, sorry, what I was going to say is today in the LCK, Humble Life Esports, a lot of flex, I believe it was Humble Life, flexing Graves on red side. Quite powerful. You can pick Graves. It will go top most cases, but it can still go jungle. I believe it was on Fleek playing that. So still some flex potential there. They could pick Hecarim on 4 for the Hecarim Orianna. We'll see if Vitality want to ban away those junglers. And I guess Rogue could just target ADs here. Xayah ban would just come to mind straight away. But as I say that, Yasuo taken away from Perkz. Want to slow down that Diana Yasuo combo, make sure it can't be locked in.
Yeah, and I think the second you don't lock Yasuo in your first 3, you are ready to have that banned away. So that was clearly a choice Vitality had to be prepared for, because because when you have Diana alone, that's enough to ban Yasuo. When you have Diana Rakan, yeah, double the reason.
Or here's the really 5-head play.
Yes.
Perkz plays Yasuo bot lane with Rakan. Goes back to his good old days, and Carzzy plays Corki mid or something because he can play AD carries and things like this. Maybe it could happen one day.
I'm gonna be honest, Jhin really hates wind wall. Like, more than most champions, because if you wind wall a force shot, he doesn't actually do damage, so I wouldn't mind seeing it. That said, it's banned away. Also gonna see the Xayah banned away, denying that combo. Again, you highlighted yesterday, lethality Xayah. Very strong, very bursty, good against champions like the Jhin and the Orianna.
Yeah, there's the Leon and Nautilus ban expected to be picked up from Rogue. I mean, Aftershock supports into Rakan, of course. Maybe they were thinking they were going to pick it on 3. They didn't, so take away both those supports. Trymbi's looking at things like Alistar now. Could go for a Karma lane. Could go for things like the Thresh, but not so great into the Rakan. But what are we going to see? Jhin Lux would be decently powerful. Not the same strength as Jhin, as Caitlyn Lux, of course. But that Zhao lock-in gives away its Graves top. And now it's up to Vitality for AD carry in mid. Nymaera has been picked a little bit in the LPL. I don't want to talk too much about hovers, but Nymaera was picked a lot in the LPL as an AD carry when those Jinx and Aphelios picks were down. The problem is it was paired with things like Nautilus. Camille, Galio, again, a good combo that can slam down onto the backline. Diana, really good follow-up as well. The only risk is you're playing double AP solo laner, so itemization becomes easier for Larssen as that gets locked in. And Ezreal, yeah, we're really... It's going to get locked in. Ezreal, Rakan, really good mobility. And the good thing is Ezreal can E forwards, Rakan can E, and you have really good follow-up engage or disengage if you want to escape. So now it's just up to Trymbi with what he wants to pick for support.
Very, very explosive composition on the side of Team Vitality. Carzzy's going to be the odd man out who just wants to sit back. But this is... It's not even 5-head because it's so standard now. And again, 9-0 across the world, I believe, was the stat that you checked earlier on.
Zilean, in the major regions.
In the major regions. Zilean incredibly good into this composition. Tahm Kench not a bad option either. Very similar, but obviously does a little bit more in the laning phase than the likes of a Zilean.
Yeah, obviously the eats will help out a lot with the Camille Galio combo. Very good peel. And yeah, Zilean, I'm still a big fan. 100% win rate, but not going to get locked in this time around. Trymbi was tempting us a little bit there. He hasn't picked Zilean, but other EU supports have, of course, Kaiser and Hylissang. But if you're looking at both comps, I think I don't really have to explain Vitality's comp to anyone. Everyone's pressing R and everyone's going forwards. Whichever target's in front of them is going to die, and hopefully it's the carries. We see a lot of these dive comps, you know, things like Vex, Jarvan Galio, Camille Galio with Rakan now. Lots of good follow-up. The good news for Vitality is Ezreal's very good at self-peeling, right? He can play poke, he can E forwards if they get a good engage. He can always self-peel for himself, whereas Rogue, Orianna, Jhin, good combos. I mean, you have a little bit of a Zhao Orianna combo if you want to talk a little bit about wombo combos, but not so much kind of harmony in their composition. But still, Zhao can disengage, Tahm Kench can eat the carry that gets targeted, and then they have a lot of front-to-back damage. We'll see how they pick apart Vitality in the fights and kite the wave from their cooldowns.
And again, we talked about the two different play styles of this team. Rogue, an incredibly disciplined team, disciplined on and off in stage games. Of course, we hear about them behind the scenes in scrims, still super disciplined. Not a team to just throw a game away or let things get crazy. We'll see if they can keep that discipline here as they go toe-to-toe with Team Vitality. Here we are on the Summoner's Rift. And again, Caedrel called it out. It's telegraphed. Rogue are going to know it's coming. The Wombo combo is being charged up. They're getting ready with it. They're going to need to wait till level 6 for a lot of the components to come together, but it does mean that if Rogue make a single misstep at any point in the game, it can fall apart incredibly quickly.
Definitely can, and we talk about roaming mid laners with things like Ryze, the old school TF meta. Galio is another one of those champions with Predator, which will run around the map, expecting some kind of Nimbus cloak as well for flash taunts to chase through the flash from the member that he's targeting. So Perkz has a matchup where he will get pushed in. Trades are hard unless your jungler's around, of course. Good kill pressure for the Galio if he can land the E. But all in all, he wants to get out of this lane ASAP, get his boots, get maybe an early tier 2 boots, Merc Treads, Cities boots, whatever it may be, and get around the map as quick as possible. Try to force dives and drop CS.
See who can play for. Alphari, of course, yesterday relatively quiet in the early game, but scaled up and became absolutely unstoppable. And again, Trymbi with the Hail of Blades, Tahm Kench. Now, I have a sneaking suspicion that Excel and Rogue might have scrimmed last week, because there's only 2 supports in our league who are doing this right now that we've seen on stage, and it is Trymbi and Mickey X. But again, I love it. Hail of Blades, remember, Rakan, not really that strong of a laning phase. Super high impact champion, but if Tahm Kench actually gets on top of the Jhin, it's going to be very, or rather not the Jhin, the Ezreal, it's going to be very hard for him to deal with it.
Yeah, the bad news is they're very slippery, Ezreal, Rakan. It's very hard for the Tahm Kench to get on top of anyone without kind of them going forwards first, right? If Ezreal easy in, Tahm Kench has insane turn potential with Hail of Blades and Ignite. So bot lane might be quiet. You can see Selfmade starting there and pathing towards the top side. And Malrang is doing the opposite for now. This Camille matchup expected to get pushed in early. You can see the damage Larssen does to Perkz on the level 1. Always going to favor the range champion in this lane. Galio will struggle, but he wants to get out of lane. It's proactivity for the side of Vitality.
Yep. And I think it's going to be a pretty quiet laning phase on the bottom side, and mid lane is going to have push, top lane's going to have push. So Rogue certainly, as highlighted on the desk, drafting these strong, pushing lanes early on, but naturally anytime the lanes are a little bit winning, we shift our attention towards the junglers. Selfmade and Malrang, obviously 2 very high impact players.
Definitely are. I mean, Selfmade, very explosive player we know from last year especially. Does kind of play a little bit more selfish in a way where he takes a lot of resources. He loves to carry. I mean, he's played so many champions a split from like Viegos to Gwens to Olafs to Kianas. And he is a very looming threat when he does get ahead. And Malrang, of course, has been sacrificing himself a lot. We know the narratives around Malrang. He does like to get his team ahead. But of course, we saw him a lot last year on Dam 1 playing things like Rumble. He's very comfortable on the farming junglers. Easy playstyle. We saw him play Hecarim yesterday as well, so very good flexibility from this player. And a slot into Rogue fantastically so far.
And again, their identity is really further established by the champions they're picking. Zhao can be a lot more effective in the early ganks. Diana, a champion that loves to have resources for herself. We know how impactful a Diana ultimate can be in a big fight, certainly when paired with a Camille and a Galio to keep opponents locked down. So something we'll track as we move in, but again, a quieter early game than I was ready, just based on the draft alone. So short of some crazy all-ins in the lane phase, we're kind of, I feel like we're chilling a little bit for the next few levels.
Yeah, we definitely are. And as we mentioned Alphari talking about Rogue previously, like you said, he said Rogue are a very fundamental team. They have very good core concepts, core fundamentals, and they almost like have this checklist where step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, very good lead, disciplined, and he also said scrimming them is fantastic because the games don't turn into bloodbaths because they're very reserved, they're very smart on how they approach the game, they don't get sucked into the int, as I like to call it, to make the game or the scrim or whatever a fiesta. As Carzzy gets jumped upon, of course, does have the E to get away. Rogue winning on this bot lane. Whereas Vitality, a lot more explosive, you have to feel. They've been losing a lot of their early games recently. Falling behind against the last, I think the last 4 games they've played, they've been falling behind against every team. And a lot of the games, like the BDS game, was a comeback.
Absolutely was. Smokescreen goes down, but Alphari running out. Of course, as the trade fades away, we can remember the game yesterday. Ultimately, Vitality able to come out on top, but I feel like if it was a team that was not named BDS, BDS a team that has been struggling a little bit more in the late game, that certainly was a game that they should have lost based on the massive deficit they had at 20 minutes there and some of the struggles, but luckily their draft set them up for success and they were able to bring it home.
Malrang hovering around top here. If Alphari goes to that cannon, he's going to go. He's going to W it. He's going to miss, but he does have the hook shot.
Hook shot into the wall. Dive. Gets the initial stun onto Malrang. Looking for the third auto. TP comes out.
I think maybe Perkz wants to make sure that Malrang didn't flash forwards and look for the kill onto Alphari with the knock-up. Maybe a flash forwards from Odoamne as well, but very defensive TP there from Perkz. Luckily for him, he wasn't base, but all of a sudden, Trymbi's in this push. Perkz has to be
wins
careful.
this 1v1. Hail of Blades, Tahm Kench is really broken. All right, that's going to be it. They're not going to push around for anything else. Quick stun, just a little bit of damage. Perkz now trading back, though. Labrov is in the area. Maybe they can turn this. Larssen has a level advantage. Trymbi definitely stronger when it comes to raw power, but Labrov rather has some solid follow-up CC.
Yeah, you can see the CS difference in the mid already. Larssen able to TP back to the lane. And Malrang a little bit proactive. Didn't get Alphari's flash, but he has TP'd back now. Odoamne is going to do the same. And nothing will come of it in the early stages. Rogue just winning out on mid and bot with raw CS numbers right now, whereas Selfmade just kind of full clearing up in camps, and that's why the gold is naturally even. Herald spawning in around 2 minutes, 30 seconds, so we'll see how teams approach it for now, because Labrov is still hovering around this top side. Trymbi's moving back towards bot, and it feels like bot lane doesn't really have that much kill pressure. It has a little bit of setup, but top side it's going to be where everyone's focusing, because Vitality with the Galio ults can target the Graves pretty easily with the Galio Camille combo. Labrov around to help, and Rogue needs to be the ones to kind of manage that, match that, and make sure Odoamne is safe, or they're getting something on the other side of the map for it.
And I think the difficult thing here is I don't mind a level 3 Rakan roaming around the map. He's got good engage, he's got good disengage. Level 3 Tahm Kench a little underwhelming now that Devour's not on. But hold that thought, Odoamne pointed, clicked, and taken out. That's the power of the combo that Vitality put together.
Good flash by Alphari, just lands the stun before Odoamne can react, gets the ult follow-up. But Perkz, again, giving up CS. This is what we expected from the draft. Labrov's just going to catch the wave, get some solo experience. And as much as they get the kill, Odoamne did say on PGL yesterday, if I die top and I get ganked, I know the game is won. Because top doesn't really matter too much. We'll see what they get on the other side of the map this time around. They're going to get a dragon. And Carzzy is forced away from the wave, defending some of their vision towards the bot side jungle. Comp will get a plate. I think Larssen gets a plate too. So all in all, that kill, that 300 gold, Rogue just got it back from plates alone. And they get a dragon too.
I think the big thing, though, is that the gold is distributed between the carries, whereas you can see the kill is onto the Diana. So need to see what Selfmade can do with the gold advantage that he has, as well as the 2-camp lead. Malrang taking the dragon back again as a team. Rogue keeping things even a small advantage to themselves with this Infernal, but see if some of the individuals of Vitality can balance that out.
The good news for Odoamne is he still has his flash. The bad news is that won't really matter too much when the Hextech Ultimatum is back up for Alphari. So keep your eyes on that, because Perkz is just going to roam again. Down 30 CS right now. Not only is it the creeps and the gold, but also the experience. You can see on the bottom left there, that little purple bar means he just hit level 6 recently, and Larssen's level 7, so a level lead in the mid lane already for Larssen, and he's happy just scaling right now. Rogue getting to 2 items on these carries is going to be their strength, and just trying to weather the storm in the early game. Going good so far for them. See if Vitality can find more, because Selfmade is ahead on this Diana.
Yep, so another first item completed, but that ultimate can be difficult to deal with. Good opportunity to go bottom before Trymbi has the level 6, has the Devour. Obviously, the mini rework took away so much of what made Tahm Kench a pro-viable support. He got back a lot more laning strength, a lot more interactivity, but the lack of Devour early on makes him a little bit more vulnerable to ganks.
Interesting Malrang's item here. He's gone for the half-pound X, so he's probably building Stridebreaker or Triforce, which is surprising to me because it feels like Vitality have a lot of dive. Goredrinker could get a lot of value from the 3 melee champions of Vitality, and of course Rakan diving in as well. Kind of a melee champion, but of course has ranged autos sometimes, depending on...
Maybe looking to out-duel. Obviously gives him a little bit more individual 1v1 power, but does take away that strength as a beefy, bruisery kind of frontliner.
Yeah, but anyway, looks like the Herald is spawned, and Selfmade's going to start it up straight away. Both bot lanes have information on one another, so it's only going to be a 3v3 towards the top side of the map. Alphari's ultimate's coming up, and Perkz is as well, but Perkz just took a really bad trade. Larssen actually used the Shockwave mid to chunk Perkz out as much as possible before this play happened, so I think Selfmade might just have to back off here because of the mid prio. You can see Perkz is basing, Larsen's ult's on cooldown. He's going to stay for now, has no potions to regen, will be handed off this blue buff. But Rogue stopped the play.
Which is crucial because now they are able to get that Infernal Drake without really costing them anything, and they should be ready to contest the next time Herald comes up. Larsen's pressure in the mid lane, difficult for Vitality to deal with. It's cost Perkz so much in terms of CS, and it's stopping him from roaming for now. Good connection on the immediate snare. Exhaust comes out. Labrov is there with the interrupt to stop anything else from going down. Ignite ticking on Trymbi. Curtain call coming out. Labrov needs to make it out of safety. Carzzy forced to walk in.
Oh, comp!
Labrov. One more shot, taking their time. Carzzy, good patience not to let that kill come through.
The Rakan had the move speed from the heal, but Comp was still hitting the shots. Malrang is around now. He could R-flash here to catch Labrov off guard. Gonna hit the E.
In his time, W connects.
Oh. Lots of pressure coming out of Rogue's bot lane. Of course, Trymbi's running the exhaust because of the Diana and things like this. The dive from Vitality, he does need to exhaust the Diana on the initial engage, so he doesn't have Ignite for the lane. Maybe they could have got themselves a kill, but still, they're going to win out the lane, push them out, and get 2 plates, acquire a small CS lead. So mid and bot going fantastically for Rogue right now, getting them a gold lead. Alphari, still, of course, ahead because of that early gank, and they're going to get themselves a Herald as well. So Vitality expecting Herald to go perhaps top. You can see Perkz just dropped to mid wave. He's running. As I said, he's going to base, but thought he was going to run towards top here and look for a top dive. Going to back off for now.
The gold's still incredibly close, however. Observers, if you're listening, if we could swap over to the individual player gold, that would be fantastic. Thank you so much. So you can see almost all of the advantage on the side of Vitality is Selfmade. It's balanced out by Comp and Larssen, obviously, on the opposite side, doing quite well in their individual matchups. But Selfmade, the player we're going to need to watch in these fights because he is the one who is keeping the gold even right now for Vitality.
Definitely is. The dive is what Vitality want. The top side dive, Ezreal can self-peel. He will be useful at 2 or 3 items later on, but he's not the main focus point for the draft. And Larssen, of course, doesn't have many defensive tools. Doesn't have phase rush or anything like this to kite away, so I'm guessing an early stopwatch on the 2nd or 3rd Drake would help him out a lot after the Mythic is built. Of course, Tahm Kench can eat, but can only eat one of these carries. Comp could just play max range with the curtain call, so we'll see how the fights play out. But for now, Alphari still has the top push. Odoamne is building towards the Hullbreaker, of course. And yeah, you can see how scared Odoamne is. Doesn't want to walk up. You can see, look at Perkz' positioning. This is the threat, the looming threat you have when it comes to Galio lanes. He can just kind of drop his lane and move towards the top side of the map, and he can hover in this bush right here around this area of the map. If Rogue have no vision, the second he steps into this top rush, they have to be scared top no matter what because of this global ultimate.
That gives Alphari a ton of space to work with. Sadly, it's not making Perkz' life any easier, but he has enough points in his basic abilities now that he can't clear the wave. Shockwave comes out. Larssen just continuously using that to put pressure onto Perkz.
Yeah, exactly. That's all he wants to do. Look at Perkz, always hovering top, always looking for options, trying to find enemy jungler, trying to find some kind of kill towards top. What's Larssen's best idea? What's the best thing Larssen can do? Can't really chase Perkz into Fog of War because he can face check Diana, so trading as hard as possible is good. He never really will get kill pressure unless his jungler's around, so using ultimate on cooldown just to chunk him out as much as possible helps the top lane to make him low. Perkz gonna get engaged on by Malrang.
Malrang going in immediately as soon as the taunt fades away, but that's gonna be big damage from Selfmade. The follow-up now coming in. Selfmade trying to survive. Alphari, tactical sweep, but nothing else. A lot of resources burned. Not gonna hit anybody though. Ezreal going just a little bit wide now. Could be a potential bloodbath on the top side. A lot of low blinking health bars, but the one who's coming out on top because of this is Comp, taking another tower plate on the bottom side.
That's exactly right. 5 members top Comp.
This man has hit every shot in the bot side. He's gonna miss the first one. Perkz gonna get out in time.
He has vision on him so he can see him. Gives him the thumbs up.
I don't know, people can't see us, but I love this. Just the standing there, arms wide, staring at the tower. Come to me, Perkz.
Waiting for something to happen, knowing that you own that side. But yeah, I mean, Perkz has to TP bot to defend the tower, had to clear out the wave to stop him from getting a full turret. And I mean, Vitality invested 5 members towards the top side to force that play from happening. And Comp is the winner. So 600 gold, 700 gold lead now for Rogue. And a dragon in their back pocket, expecting Malrang. Yeah, he is on it right now, so that's going to be a second dragon. So Vitality still have Herald. They still have the Camille ult. The Galio ult was used aggressively, but they didn't get a kill. They need to find a little bit more than this to get these divers ahead to make Rogue's life a lot harder.
Certainly do. And the fact that Comp is able to get those plates in return for the Vitality not getting a kill on the top side is big, because Selfmade had grabbed 1 or 2 of those kills. It would have made this game so incredibly difficult, but now the Jhin is getting stronger and stronger. Checking in on Malrang, of course, looks like Stridebreaker will be the answer. Odoamne running for the hills. Holebreaker there does a lot of work, but with the Ignite ticking, it's not going to be enough. Another kill over to Selfmade.
Yeah, that ward in the lane gave Vitality so much information. Saw Rogue's Odoamne walking up to try and clear away that ward. Already had prepared the engage. Selfmade hit the Q the second he walked into the bush. Labrov roaming top, just leaving Carzzy on this weak side, of course. Trying to get top as head as possible. Most of that now is on Alphari and Selfmade, but again, look at the CS lead in mid, look at the CS lead in bot. A full tower over to Comp will be responded with a full tower over to the jungle top of Vitality.
And we're in a weird situation right now, Caedrel, where it feels like it's Alphari and Selfmade versus Larssen and Comp. Everyone else kind of getting left on the wayside on the opposite side, but it's mid AD carry on one side, it's top jungle on the other.
And you have a few facilitators, right? Perkz is going to toss ult in. Hang on, Malrang has no flash.
Taunt's there. Big damage now coming in. Malrang should just get shredded down.
Oh, he's winsies.
Now trying to turn it back. Red buff ticking. He's not going to go for Labrov too, but well played by Malrang to get that one. Here comes Alphari. Tactical sweep over the wall. Ezreal going in, but they're out of cooldowns. They cannot follow.
Trymbi had the ETH as well. If Alphari had flash to gap close, in this case he didn't. Try to TP in to save the play. Larssen has flash, but Selfmade's going to find him.
Ulti not going to pull him in. Larssen, clean mechanics, still 2-level advantage for the Orianna. She is very strong.
This Galio, oh, it's so weak, isn't it? No ability power whatsoever. He just picked up the Lost Chapter, but before this play, all he had was an Amp Tome. So as much as Malrang looked caught, they didn't have the damage to kill him. And he just picked up a Stridebreaker now. So another free kill over to Malrang will help him in the gold deficit that he has against Selfmade, who's been kind of power farming a lot this game.
But it's so crazy watching this game, because if you look just at the CS numbers, it looks like Vitality are like getting pretty blasted. But then you look at the gold and you see that it's a dead even game outside of 2 Drakes. Rogue are winning, but it's split across the map. They're punishing every time Vitality try to make a play. But the thing about this Diana Galio composition is all it takes is one crazy fight for Vitality to get control of the gold lead. But for now, Rogue going blow for blow in every single exchange, and come in on top in terms of Drakes.
And the person who has to respect the play always is Odoamne. And Rogue's job on the other side of the map is just do something. Zone them away from towers, accumulate a CS lead, look for aggressive plays if they step up, take dragons, and that's what they've done. They've responded well. They've got these leads, 60 CS in mid, 20 CS on the AD carry roll, as well as a tower. So yeah, like you said, it really does feel like the top jungle of Vitality with the Rakan and the Galio ult versus the carries of Rogue. Can the Tahm, Kench and the Xin Zhao disengage enough to peel for them? Or can Vitality find that kill? I feel like the next team fight might just blow the game wide open.
And I like the itemization we're seeing come out from Larssen specifically. Everfrost, Orianna, don't normally recommend it, but against the sheer amount of divers that want to come into you, against the Galio taunt especially, it's pretty strong overall. Will make his life a little bit easier in the fights to come, even if it's a little bit less damage.
Herald. spawned. Vitality are on it. Top wave's pushed in and Alphari's first. Rogue might just have to give this one up. The question you ask yourself is, do we want to risk fighting a Herald here when Vitality is spiking? Not spiking too hard, don't have a level 11 Diana and 2 items on her, but we can just get a mid tower as a consolation prize. We're sitting at 2 dragons. We don't have to kind of flip the 5v5 straight up. Wait for Comp to get a second item, wait for Larssen to finish his second item too, and then maybe fight around Drakes where it's a little bit more space to work with, where you can establish vision control before the fight begins.
And I think that's what's so big. Rogue's excellent map play in this game has given them 2 Drakes. They're not in a situation where they have to go fight Vitality and Drake, or have to take a fight where they don't have vision, because again, Vitality, if they get the jump on Rogue, they're able to pick these carries off before a fight even gets started. Very, very easy for them to snowball a massive advantage, but as long as Rogue give them the respect, opt out of the 5v5s, opt into the trades, they can stay at arm's length away from this incredible combo on the side of Vitality.
Yeah, control is the key word for this game, because if Vitality already have control, it's very hard for Rogue to face check because of the amount of angles they can come from, and it's all on Alphari and Selfmade. If they can kind of pincer or come from the same angle onto the carries and Perkz follows up, that's it, lights out for Rogue. But then the opposite side, even if Rogue have control, Vitality need to kind of poke and prod their way around the objective. Maybe push out bot, go through bot before the dragon spawns, and then send off Selfmade and Alphari through the flanks towards the left of the Drake pit, towards the blue buff, and then try to find engages there. That's normally how the dragon fights tend to work, so we'll keep our eye on that when it spawns in the next 40 seconds.
Definitely something to track. Reminder, for Rogue, winning here means locking playoffs. Of course, they're probably looking to lock a little bit more than that as we get further in the split, but locking it this early certainly gives them some freedom in the regular season. Most teams are just focused on making playoffs, but of course in the LEC, top 4 is also especially important as it gives you that free loss in playoffs, puts you in the upper bracket. Something that Vitality are pretty far away from, so the win very important for them as well. Locking playoffs good, again, but locking top 4 significantly better.
Yeah, and that's what Vitality want. They want playoffs. They know they can't win the split, and it'll be very hard. I mean, they need an insane win streak to do so, but as Perkz said on Euphoria, he knows they are a scary best-of-5 team. Best-of-5 is where he shines, where he feels comfortable on the stage, and the pressure and the flexibility and versatility you need in a best-of-5 series. That's where he wants to be sitting, but they need a couple more wins to do so. Malrang gets blast coned into Perkz, but they want to opt out of that play. Herald use for the top tier 2. Is low enough to go down.
Trying to kill it before it can get the charge off. Nice snare comes over the wall. Locked up, and it looks like it will get taken down. Well played by Rogue, committing so many members to make sure that that one couldn't come through. The only trade Vitality are able to get back is some damage in the mid lane.
I like this TP from Alphari. Drake's up, and they just pulled Rogue topside with their Herald. He's going to push in bot and push into this tower. Get the wave in, and then look for some kind of flanks. Rogue only have vision in their topside jungle. I think Trymbi might have used a lot of wards to make sure this Herald play is stopped, but they're going to group mid, push it out. Larssen has TP if he wants to collapse and make it a 5v5, but looks like Vitality, Selfmade's basing. They're just going to give it.
Waiting. They decide this is not the time to go. They will have to fight for the next dragon. Cloud, especially with Hex Tech out, feels pretty underwhelming, but in general, especially for Tahm, Kench, for Orianna, those cooldowns are massive. The Crescent card as well.
I think Vitality's sitting pretty comfortable. I wonder if the comms are just, yeah, we don't really care about this soul too much. It's not going to have that much impact because the movement speed's great, but once you're locked down, the fight's kicked off. You can kite back a little bit with the ultimate move speed, but who's really kiting back? Jhin standing still in his ult. Maybe just the Xin Zhao and the Graves, or the people who get the bonuses in the fight itself. And I mean, if Rogue had rolled a Hex Tech Drake or an Infernal Drake this game, I feel like it would look a lot different on that third dragon.
Yep. Nature of the Drakes, though, a little bit of RNG. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose when it comes to that one, and it feels like right now Vitalities are the winners in this case because the opposing team does not have access to one of the more powerful souls in the context of this game.
Yeah, Perkz just finished his mythic item, almost 20 minutes in, so maybe that was another reason why they opted out of it. The CC chain layering with the Galio taunt into the E, into the Everfrost is very crucial, especially when there's only one Merc Treads on the side of Rogue. You want to make sure you lock down that one member to force the Tahm Kench ult, and then all the damage is basically coming from the Diana Camille.
Odoamne playing towards his jungler and support. Vitality, it looks like sniffing this one out. Do not want to take any risks there. Not 100% sure of the enemy location, but Sweeper coming in will clear some vision.
Big gold lead for Vitality. Odoamne will level up on this wave, but still, right now, a 2-level advantage for Alphari. Same for Selfmade. All the resources on this top jungle. We can't say it enough, and we can't stress it enough. Carzzy's recovered pretty well. Experience still down a bit, but he's only 10 CS down. It was a lot worse around 12 minutes into this game, so definitely recovered a lot there. Labrov still building towards the Shirelias. And Vitality still focusing up towards the top side. That top tier 2 tower is very low. I think that's Vitality's focus for now.
And I think we're slowly leaving the game where Tahm Kench gets to be a playmaker and slowly entering the part of the game where Tahm Kench just has to eat people. That said, Malrang still looking to be a playmaker as he goes in. Galio now coming in, trying to stop the play from coming through. Luckily, the Zhanyas is available, but it looks like it's just going to be 2 easy kills picked up on the side of Rogue.
Greed, greed, greed coming out of Vitality. I think they overstayed for a camp and an extra wave top. Alphari was showing on bot wave, I believe, with no TP, and Rogue are saying, hang on a second, let's just force this. Force on the engages, make them flash away. And that's just going to net them a Baron, just like that. We thought one team fight would blow the game open, but one smart pick from Rogue leads to an objective.
And this is the thing. If they never give Vitality the chance to group up to use their full combo, Rogue's composition just so easy to play this one out. Excellent pick, good decision-making. Rogue continued to split the map, never giving Vitality a chance to fight the full 5v5, and just playing this game fantastically.
Yeah, they're going to base 2 minutes 30 seconds on the Dragon. And that's what they're going to set up for. My question is, why does Carzzy have 150 gold shutdown? But anyway, let's look at this. Yeah, they're greeting for a camp. There's a one ward that Labrov might have missed with the sweeper, and Alphari is showing on bot wave. If you look at bots right now, they see Alphari. Odoamne is rotated up as he's pushed the wave in, and Selfmade wants the Crux. Malrang says he might be on the Crux, or if we're not going for Selfmade here, we're going for Perkz, because he's overstaying top as well. In the end, the flash away comes through, and Selfmade is forced to pop the stopwatch from the shockwave. And then you're just 2 sitting ducks in the meat grinder of Rogue. Both of them fall. Easy Baron.
Yep. Selfmade, he does decent damage, but Perkz, as we've highlighted, he's just so far behind. There's not a lot for him to get there. Now trying to make a play back. Oh, the Everfrost. Killing someone with the Baron buff is big, but there's the Everfrost from Larssen. We highlighted it earlier.
Perkz.
So good against the Galio.
Doesn't have ult to escape. He has TP, but Larssen's not going to let him with the shockwave. I think he's just going to have to die here. Uses the flash. He's going to run through the towers.
Flash,
maybe he's
Nimbus.
out.
He should be out. Actually, Larsen's very fast. Dissonance, very strong at this point. Is going to flash in, is going to commit for it, but by Zanyazing, looks like it's going to stop any potential play. Alphari now knows he needs to go in. Trymbi in the area. They're going to try to CC him down before Trymbi can even push in. It's clean from Vitality. That was a combo they've been fishing for all game. No chance to ult from Trymbi. Means 1 dead AD carry. 2 quick kills picked up. That's the Baron shut down. Keep your eyes on that Cloud Drake timer. That is all that matters at this moment.
Larssen still going. Perkz has nowhere to run. No one nearby for him to toss the ultimate out. Larssen pops the thumbs up. I think he's going to die here. So that chase did work out for Rogue. But again, your mid laners chasing away Perkz, and they're overextending top a little bit too much without a tower behind them. And Vitality finally find the combo. I think Trymbi couldn't eat comp because of the Diana knock-up for that split second. The burst just instantly came down and he was dead before he could do so. 2 kills over and a shutdown for Selfmade on comp.
All right, 50 seconds. Time to see if Vitality care about Cloud Soul. If so, 5v5, bloodbath in the pit. Vitality have some pressure in the mid lane. They've stopped the Baron buff from breaking open their base, from really doing much of anything, to be honest. Look at that Baron power play, 400 gold. You get 1,500 just from taking the damn thing. So well played to get the shutdowns on the side of Vitality. Larssen getting the kill on Perkz is big, but next fight might be all that matters.
Yeah, Carzzy's quietly been farming. Hasn't had any impact this game, of course, but he hasn't had any resources to do so either. But now he has his 2 items. He will dish out a lot from the back line, and he should be pretty safe looking at Rogue's composition. Unless they do kill the frontline divers, then he will be the next target. Deep vision for Rogue. Dragon in 15 seconds. Do Vitality care about this Dragon? I think the answer is no. If I look at Selfmade's positioning, maybe he wants to go towards his top tier 2 and just dive Odoamne. Perkz is hovering there as well, and Alphari's going aggressive.
This is the stun, though. Smoke screen comes out. TP going in. They're just going to put pressure on the top side, create another point that Rogue are forced to respond to. Maybe they can sneak away the Dragon in the meantime. But Malrang's now splitting on the bot side. We heard Rogue were super disciplined, but now it's getting weird, folks. Time to see what they do.
This is very odd because they're going to get TP'd on now. I mean, Perkz just TP'd top.
Curtain call now coming out. Malrang on the backside fighting Selfmade. Larssen in the midst of the team. Selfmade now going to get pulled back. His ult goes in, but he's only hitting Malrang. Carzzy on the backside of the fight, but that's the jungler going to go down. Alphari in the midst of the fight now too, but Rogue are standing 5 members strong. Selfmade taken out. Alphari now in trouble. Rogue set up to take down the Cloud. It's an absolute mess around the pit, but it's Rogue who come out on top.
Yeah, they're going to get the soul as well, unless Carzzy can steal it with a miracle Q. I don't think he can. The blue orb's going to come out. Rogue are blocking it. What an odd sequence of events. Vitality looked like they were giving up the Drake. Let's go topside and dive. Hang on, Alphari has no flash, has the mana for E.
Shot, wall dive, taking his time on that one, but now he's out of mana. Carzzy on the run. Malrang stepping forward, gonna look for that left auto attack. Stride breaker just to get the slowdown. Malrang has to be careful, goes golden. Now they can step forward to body block. Carzzy. Hero opportunity here, but not much for him to do with it. Larssen coming down, no mana. He's just gonna be zoned away.
Labrov.
Slow comes in. Labrov now going in. Good damage going back onto Trymbi. Trymbi should fall here. The shield come out from Orianna. Not in time. Odoamne now running. Carzzy versus the world. Ulti going to go a little bit wide. Carzzy full confidence here.
They don't have any TPs though, so they can't TP behind them or look for a chase on those mid lane wards. So Rogue will get out after losing Trymbi. They get the shutdown onto Alphari though, which is great, but I think Vitality aren't done here yet. Selfmade!
Selfmade going in, fully committing for the play, knowing that they're going to lose out on this one. Crescent Guard comes out to buy a bit more space. Blast Cone there, perfectly. Rogue going to make the escape. Carzzy still stepping forward, has already E'd. Oh, Vitality getting so aggressive, just trying to stop Rogue from recalling without getting something more out of the exchange. Look at all of those shutdown, all of those juicy bounties that could bring the gold back in Vitality's favor.
Very odd sequence of events. Let's focus on the minimap for a second, because Perkz just TP top. Alphari has TP, yes, but so does Odoamne and Larssen, so it's basically a 5v4 for a little bit until Perkz can arrive with the ultimate. Selfmade gets an ultimate off onto Malrang, doesn't find Larssen. Larssen's untouched. Arrives Rogue, Alphari's there, but look how late Perkz arrives as well. Selfmade's basically dead when he lands, and they're just forced to run away. Carzzy can never really find his way into the fight because he's just trying to play range. He knows if he steps too far forward, he's just going to get blown up. So now it's just a case of Rogue are overextending, looking for our mid-tier 2. Let's chase him down. Vitality only get the Tahm Kench, and that'll be that. 40 seconds on the Baron. Sorry, Dragon Soul over to Rogue, and they have topside control. Still a top tower up that they might want to focus.
Caedrel, this game is just going to get harder for Vitality because they've been throwing so many punches this game, but they have not been sticking. The gold's still close. Objective bounties are going to make it that much easier for them to stay even with gold. Cloud Soul is going to be the one big advantage that Rogue have, but if they cannot find their footing, if they cannot find a clean engage under the backline of Rogue, this game is just not going to go in their favor.
And Odoamne was the one who was set behind this whole game, but yes, he's still down around 50 CS, but he's got a shutdown. He's building towards 3 items. He's level 15. He's still going to be the focus for Vitality, though.
Going forward, Labrov giving him the extra speed up for now, just focusing on the objective bounty. A lot of money going to their pockets for that tower.
So, Rogue. Baron has spawned. They got that top tower and Comp is staying on the map. Carzzy's almost got his 3rd item. He's building towards that Ezreal desk. That's when the Ezreal will really start to spike and will be a thorn in the side of Rogue. 3 items on Larssen. Comp building towards the Infinity Edge. Topside control for Rogue. Vitality contesting the mid-wave. Now remember, Elder Dragon will spawn at 30 minutes. So as much as they've given up this Cloud Soul, Vitality might be focusing on that as the next objective. But first, they've got to get through Rogue, as they might look towards the Baron.
Carzzy's still behind in itemization, but you can see if he's given time and space to work with, he can still have that big impact. Track as the next item does come through. Vitality, they get all their spells, 5 members of Rogue, they can win a fight, but it's all about execution, it's all about finding an angle, and Rogue are clearly not looking to give it to them. Devour up and available for Trymbi, shuts down so much of the playmaking that Vitality are going to try to bring to bear.
Yeah, keep your eye on Labrov and Selfmade there. The main divers, Perkz is the follow-up, and Alphari's there as a last resort in case they botch the dive, and then he's going to be the one to drop the Camille ult, and Galio will come on top of it. Rogue just playing on their own vision right now. Vitality need to poke and prod their way in. They don't have any vision on the Baron, so maybe they're just kind of guessing. That ward in the Raptors is giving them enough information to spot out the members of Rogue to say, look, there's not enough people in that Baron pit to do it. It's going to get swept away in the end. Rogue still, of course, have that Cloud Soul. We'll see how much usage it has in these fights. Alphari going to go to bot wave to push that out. Has the teleport available. There's the Ezreal that's complete for Carzzy.
It's going to be big in the fight to come, the extra armor penetration, as well as the slow. Stop himself from just getting dove on. Ezreal to check the pit, just to be certain that no one has started it. Opportunity here for Vitality to clear out some of the vision, but with no mid-prio, hard to be confident in pushing into that fog of war. They don't really have information on where Rogue is. They will now see Odoamne moving down to clear out that bot wave, which would give them a bit more license to move up and contest mid.
The slower this goes on, the faster the Elder will spawn, of course. I mean, 1 minute 30 seconds left on that. Malrang has found Selfmade.
Selfmade fighting. Malrang's still very powerful, though. Force of nature makes it that much easier for him to stick around in those fights.
Yeah, 1 minute 30 seconds from this Elder Rogue. Do you pull the trigger and just force the Baron now? Jhin, of course, not the fastest at Baron takers, like next to Orianna. Things like Azira, Philios, and Jinx are always faster, so starting this up and then being stuck in a pit against Camille Galio is not what they want. They're looking for a pick before this happens. But, of course, when that objective spawns, you have 2 massive objectives on the map, and they will lean towards the Elder, so Rogue will have to transition all their vision across to the bot side of the map if they do want to fight it. Labrov.
Knockup going to come over the wall. Can he battle dance out to safety? Galio now trying to find the engage. Those are the frontliners, but if they can kill them before the fight breaks out, maybe they can get something done. Instead, they're retreating, realizing this is not the engage that they wanted. Labrov getting caught out. How much will it cost them? Selfmade goes golden. Should be an easy kill pickup for Rogue. Now priority access to the Baron, but in the meantime, Alphari's pushing on the bottom side.
Yeah, there's the pick, so Rogue's going to force it up. The question for Rogue is how much will you lose on the bot side? Because yes, this Baron will go down, but Vitality's here to stop
Larssen
you.
flashed over the wall, looking for a little bit more, but that's a knockup. Quick fingers coming in from Labrov, trying to get something done. Labrov going golden. Larssen, low health in the midst of the entire fight. Alphari buying a bit more time with the stopwatch. 5 members standing for Rogue, but they're getting lower and lower as Carzzy remains untouched. But he goes in, Malrang's right on top of him. Carzzy getting taken down. Alphari running for the hills. It's a disaster for the side of Vitality.
Yeah, I think Larssen's going to base here and TP on mid-wave. Trymbi's just trying to mark Labrov to slow him down to make sure he can't base, to buy as much time as possible for this mid-wave to push in. 10 seconds on Selfmade. I wonder if you have the ultimate up to clear the wave. There's the TP coming in. Odoamne is behind Rogue. He's going to collapse as well. Trymbi still marking Labrov. Are they going to look for the end here? Can they do it? Vitality, all of their damage went onto Trymbi and Malrang, so the carries could walk up. And I think this might just be it. We'll see what Selfmade can do.
Rogue pushing in. Wave on the bot side being ignored. Vitality running out of time, running out of hope. And once again for Rogue, it is surgical precision that allows them to dissect, but Selfmade will not go quietly. Perkz does not have the follow-up. Malrang focusing on the towers. He will still get taken down. Rogue so incredibly low. 1 second till Carzzy, but it will not be enough. The base will fall. Rogue eyes on the prize, not focusing on the kills, not focusing on the champions, worried instead about the Nexus. Rogue secure their place in the LEC playoffs.
Vitality had the tools to dive and find plays, and they were trying to force them, but Rogue just paid a lot of respect. Yes, they got a couple kills and a lot of pressure towards the top side, but the exhaust onto Selfmade on that Nash fight in the top side river, the damage landing onto Malrang and Trymbi meant Comp and Larssen were free to do whatever they wished. And then Alphari TPing in. It felt like Vitality were so disjointed. They were trying to buy time to give up the Nash so Alphari could push, but then he TPs in, and the second he lands, he pops the stopwatch. So they never really found that clean, heavy engage that they were looking for.
Yeah, and I think I love that both teams played to the strengths that we know they have. Vitality, that explosiveness again. Rogue, that discipline. But at the end of the day, Rogue's discipline came out on top. They were so clean across this entire game. But one player needs to be appreciated a little bit more than others, and that is the key player of the game at LEC on Twitter, Larssen, Comp, or Trymbi. And it was, I mean, I think all 5 players, honestly, played super well, weathering the storm of the pressure on the top side. Odoamne still being relevant in those fights, and we can see why Rogue are the #1 team in the league right now. Yes, they had that rough week, but that was clean.
Yeah, just follow the checklist. Weak side top, get the Drakes, stack the Drakes, play team fights well, respect their engage, and yeah, don't give them an opportunity, and that's exactly what they did. Perkz never really found his way into this game.
Yeah. Dang. Rough stuff. Well, not for Rogue, though, because they're going to lock their spot in the playoffs, and their support Trymbi will join us at the analyst desk after the break to talk about their win and preview the match of the week between G2 and Fnatic.
Maybe I'm a genius sometimes, sometimes I'm an idiot, but I do believe that I'm quite smart in the game, and I see a lot of windows that other people do not.
I feel it's not going to
Run top.
I feel we killed them all. I feel it's not there.
And Vitality thought they had collapsed, but it's Fnatic doing the collapsing! Your key player of the game votes at LEC on Twitter. Humanoid upset Hylissang. Give it to the support. Come on, it was Hylissang.
But Hylissang's engaging on combat.
W gone for Zanzara, which is going to be big.
Okay.
Flash in, double bomb, double stun. Hylissang making the plays.
Don't get impatient for kills,
I was
guys.
skeptical about the Zillion. I've been proved wrong twice. Fnatic.
Hey, he's engaging on Zillion, yeah? Flash forward. Hylissang has Flay, pulls them back. Glacial Augment, and look at the damage already onto Unforgiven. Kaiser next, another hook.
And he got the Kia player of the game with 59% of the votes. So shout out to Hylissang. Stop giving this man thresh, people. It's not worth it.
Sometimes even my team, they think that we shouldn't do that, but when they follow me, they're like, oh, I guess it worked out, you know? For sure, there's a mixture of like trust and skill, and I think right now I have both, and that's why it's working out. I've heard that people say that it's nice to work with me, but I wouldn't say so. I actually think it's hard to work with me, because sometimes I don't express myself in the best way. If you can understand what I really mean, then it would be easy, just like Ilias does, and I'm very grateful.